So Reuters dropped a story this morning. DeepSeek, the Chinese AI company, apparently trained their newest model on NVIDIA's Blackwell GPUs, the very chips the United States government explicitly banned from being shipped to China. And every headline is framing this the same way. China cheated. China stole our tech. How dare they? And I'm sitting here thinking, are we serious right now? Before we get into the AI part of this, I need to tell you a story. Because what's happening right now has happened before, almost beat for beat. Steve Jobs walks into Xerox PARC, the Palo Alto Research Center. Xerox had built the future in that building. The graphical user interface, the mouse, which Douglas Engelbart actually invented in '68, but Xerox refined and paired with the GUI. Email, the desktop metaphor, everything we take for granted about how computers work, Xerox put it together. And Xerox's management didn't care. They were a copier company. They looked at the most important computing breakthrough of the century and said, yeah, but can it make copies? Jobs saw it, walked out, built the Macintosh. Then a few years later, Microsoft releases Windows, and it looks familiar, very familiar. Jobs is furious. He gets Gates in a room, surrounded by Apple employees, and screams at him, "You're ripping us off! I trusted you, and now you're stealing from us!" And Bill Gates, I will never forget this quote, just looked at him and said, "Well, Steve, I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox, and I broke into his house to steal the TV set and found out that you had already stolen it." That's exactly what's happening with AI right now. The entire AI revolution, every model you've ever talked to, every chatbot, every image generator, every coding assistant, runs on something called the transformer architecture. It was invented in 2017 at Google, published in a paper called "Attention is All You Need," published openly, for free, by an international team of researchers, an Indian computer scientist, a Ukrainian engineer, a Polish researcher, a Canadian grad student. This wasn't American technology locked in a vault. It was shared knowledge, published for the world, and everyone built on it. OpenAI built GPT on it. Anthropic built Claude on it. Google built Gemini on it. Meta built Llama on it. And yes, DeepSeek built their models on it too. The foundation was shared. That was the whole point. That's how science works. You publish, others build on your work, everyone advances. But then something interesting happened. American companies took that shared foundation, built the most powerful AI chips in the world, trained the most powerful models, charged the highest prices, and accumulated hundreds of billions of dollars in value. And now that someone else figured out how to compete, now we want to talk about theft. How do you accuse someone of stealing something that was built on research you published for free, using concepts developed by an international community on a foundation that nobody owns? That's the Steve Jobs move. You walk into Xerox's house, take the TV, build an empire on it, and then lose your mind when someone else shows up and takes the VCR. Now look, I want to be clear about something. If DeepSeek actually circumvented US export controls to get those Blackwell chips, that's a legal issue. There are laws about this stuff, and laws matter. But the framing, the "China stole our AI" framing, that's not a legal argument. That's a narrative. And it's a narrative designed to make you forget that the entire AI industry was built on openly shared research, openly published papers, and openly available ideas. Both things can be true at the same time. Export controls can be legitimate policy, and the broader claim of ownership over AI can be hypocritical. The world is allowed to hold two ideas at once. But here's what nobody's asking. And this is the part that affects you. While governments fight over who owns the chips, and companies fight over who owns the models, you're sitting there trying to have a conversation with an AI that remembers your name. And nobody in this entire geopolitical chess match is thinking about you. Bridgewater estimates $650 billion is being poured into AI infrastructure this year. It's going to data centers and enterprise tools and agentic coding platforms. The chip wars? They're about national security and shareholder value and market dominance. You, the person who opens an AI app at 11 p.m. because you need to think through a decision and you don't want to wake anybody up, you are not in any of these conversations. The technology was built on shared knowledge. The money is being made by corporations. The access is being controlled by governments. And the person who uses this stuff every day is, once again, a rounding error in somebody else's business plan. I'm not here to defend DeepSeek. I'm not here to defend the US government. I'm here to point out that every time the tech industry fights about who owns what, they're fighting over something that was never really theirs to begin with. The research was open. The ideas were shared. The foundation belongs to everyone. Bill Gates was right in 1985. We all had the same rich neighbor. And some of us are just louder about calling it theft. Nobody asked you. But that's what I think.